All right, good morning, everyone. You are watching Ask the Budgetologist. Not only are you here with me, your host and budgetologist, and someone who's severely missing happy hour, we are here with our official CFO of Ask the Budgetologist. Meet Andrea Jack. Yay! Everyone who's dropping in, this is Phylecia Jones with our official CFO, Miss Andrea Jack, and you are watching Ask the Budgetologist. And today we are going to answer, how to manage your business finances during a crisis. If you haven't realized what's going on, the world is a little cray-cray right now, but we still have to manage finances as a solo business owner, as an entrepreneur. We still have to figure this out. So today we brought in the official accountant, the official CFO, the official, to either correct me or verify everything that I've said. So we're going to talk about unemployment, the PPP, which is the Paycheck Protection Program, because the government loves these long acronyms, and the economic injury disaster loan, and some other little fun things when it comes to managing business finances. So go ahead and share this out. Share this out to a friend that needs to have a big old long talk about their money. Drop all questions, go into the comment box, and we're just going to get this party started. So, Andrea, how are you doing this morning? Hey there, it's Phylecia, and I am breaking into the middle of this podcast because we had technical difficulties making this episode. And right when Andrea was starting to talk, I realized that I did not have my sound in properly. So I got to tell you, you really didn't miss a whole heck of a lot. We just did our typical banter. And then she did start on some of the unemployment and other programs that are out there for small business owners. But don't worry, I made her repeat everything. So keep enjoying the show. Thank you.
And then the fourth one, it's one that not a lot of people are talking about, but you need to know that it exists because it's an SBA Express bridge loan. Okay. And that bridge loan, but you need to know, is for $25,000 to help bridge the gap between any gaps you may have right now. That bridge loan. Now, the reason why I label out those four is because the PPP program, if you cannot get unemployment from your state, and you have been denied, tomorrow, April 10th, the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, is opening where self-employed individuals who either receive a 1099 or you file a Schedule C will be able to file for themselves in the Paycheck Protection Program. And that is major. So make sure you have your financial documents together because you know that millions of people are going to be submitting an application tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that. So, Andrea, I'm going to have to get you to repeat a couple of things. We had a couple of sound issues. So This is live streaming, baby. This is how this works. So we got you in on the beginning, but I just wanted to make sure for those of you who are just jumping in and watching Ask the Budgetologist, we have our official CFO who's going to be joining us every week until the end of time. Yay. Miss Andrea Jack of D&P Financial Services out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you don't know where that is, go check them out. So we did have a couple of tech issues. I think there should be sound now. So for those of you who are tuning in, just give me a thumbs up and let me know that you can hear both of us okay. But we just started and Andrea was answering the question about unemployment. So if I can get you just to repeat what to do about unemployment, and then we're going to jump into some of those other programs that you talked about again. So what can we do when the unemployment just said, nope, not today?
Can't do it. Here's what's happening across the United States, because I know we have people from everywhere. Some states like Pennsylvania is saying, even if you're self-employed, you can file for unemployment, right? Some states are saying, no, if you're self-employed, you cannot file for unemployment. And so what the government is doing is tomorrow, April 10th, the Paycheck Protection Program will be opening for self-employed individuals. And the biggest thing I want to tell you guys is to make sure that you have your paperwork ready because millions of people are going to file. And hopefully, because it's been open for a week for small business owners who have employees, we're hoping that they've gotten all the glitches out, right? So by the time it opens for the self-employed individuals, you will be able to go through and have a smooth process. So one of the things I want to recommend is you need to go and look at who are you banking with for your business account. And you need to see if they are an SBA provider who will do the Paycheck Protection Program, because in order to apply for that program, you have to do it through your bank. Okay. So for example, my business account is with Bank of America. So I know, because they're a major bank, Bank of America is on the lending list, and I can go through Bank of America to file my application. Hoping that they've gotten all.
So the question I have for you is, we've heard about the PPP, but we're also starting to hear reports that some banks are opting out. Some banks are not processing applications. And then some banks are only choosing to work with their current clients. Like, how do we even navigate around that?
Absolutely. Very great question. So it's a few things happening. One, the banks, let me take a step back. Things are moving so fast, guys. This is such a fluid situation.
Yes, it is.
So, I wake up in the morning and I have a ton of emails in regards to things that have changed in the last 24 hours, right? So when this whole Paycheck Protection Program was put into place by Senator Marco Rubio down in Florida, of course, it was with the intent to help small business owners get funding into the communities, into our hands, right? However, with that being said, there was some glitches along the way. So, of course, they wanted to roll this program out and allow the banks to be on the forefront to lend the money. And then the banks would go back to the SBA and request a refund, right? Or like a payback. Mm-hmm. And so the banks are like, okay, that's not really a big issue. However, there's no credit check, right? There's no collateral. So all you have to do if you have employees is submit your payroll reports, submit your utility bills. If you're self-employed, submit your Schedule C. And so they're like, okay, so in the event this person doesn't do what they're supposed to do, because the Paycheck Protection Program is supposed to be fully refundable, right? Or fully forgivable. But if this person doesn't do what they're supposed to do with the money, and they're now supposed to pay it back, monkey in the middle, we're stuck, right?
Yeah.
This is what the banks are saying.
Can you blame them though? I mean, it's kind of like somebody coming into your house saying, all right, can I borrow $100,000 and I promise I'll pay you back.
And you're like, I'm sorry, what's your name again? And what's your address? And you know what I mean? And so what the banks have done, again, and we've been dealing with this now for at least almost 7 days. It opened last Friday for employers. The banks are saying, okay, and I'll use Bank of America as an example. If you didn't have a business account with Bank of America prior to February 15th, you can't apply through them, right? Now, originally they were saying if you didn't have a business credit card or a business loan with them, that you couldn't apply through them. Oh, and it's real, guys. It is real. And so someone filed a class action lawsuit because they said, wait a second, I am a depositor to your bank, right? Because I have a business account. Mm-hmm. What do you mean I can't apply for this loan through the program because I don't have a business credit card and a business loan? And so the Bank of America had to change their tune very quickly. So that's the power of the people. And they started to accept those who also only had maybe a business account or business merchant account with them, etc. And so that's why I'm saying today, because it opens tomorrow, I want you guys to go to your bank and see, are you participating in this program? If they are not, I do have a list that I can share with Phylecia. She can put out on her page, or you guys, when you reach out to connect with me, you can get this information. But we have a list of banks who are participating. If you don't see your bank on that list, then we also have brokers that we're working with who are also SBA lenders. So there is a workaround, but we really want you to go to your bank first.
Okay, that's really good to know, because a lot of people are hitting walls with their banks. Like here where I live, my bank is not participating at all. And then I've noticed that some banks were putting, like, we're only working with our customers and clients. And just like you were saying, this situation is so fluid. It is literally, by the time we get off of here, there's probably going to be a new change. That's how crazy, because I've been trying to keep up and I'm just like, I don't even know what's happening right now. So yeah. So for everyone who's watching, so you're watching Ask the Budgetologist, and we are talking about managing your business finances in a crisis. We have the official CFO, Andrea Jack of the show, who will be joining us. She is also an amazing accountant, an amazing CFO who runs, how many years now have you been running your company?
This is year 16.
Well, and she looks like a baby, y'all. So 16 years she has been running this company, and it's been amazing. So it's D&P Financial Services out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and we are just talking about the fluidity of the Paycheck Protection Program.
Yes.
So she's gonna provide us with some resources for if your bank is not participating. And then how to find those SBA approved lenders, especially if your bank is being shady, because some banks are being shady, y'all, and that's
Some
not
banks are
cool.
being shady.
And we don't need shady right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the interesting thing that you mentioned in all of this, and this is something that we talked about a lot on this show when we were going daily about a year ago, and which we're going to talk about now, is that you need to have all of your paperwork ready, and that means your bookkeeping. You need to
Yes.
know your numbers, and that's what we have always talked about here is knowing your numbers. Are you seeing that a lot of business owners where literally business owners, we can go month to month and kind of we'll get to it later, or our bookkeeper will get to it later. What are you seeing when the reality is kicking in? Is like, oh crap, I need to sit down and do my numbers now. What are you seeing on your side with your clients?
So here's the funny thing, right? Sometimes with my clients, I feel like I'm Charlie's brown mom and she's like, wah, 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 right? Because, repetition is key. And
Mm-hmm.
so you find that we say some of the same things over and over again, but it's because, the first time you didn't hear me, the second time you may have heard me, but it didn't sink in. By the third time, it's actually penetrating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now my clients are like, oh my God, I see why you've been saying know your numbers and why you need to have your books and why you need to do your taxes and why you need to do this and blah, 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 blah. Right. And so, guys, here's the thing. You made a decision to become a business owner. I didn't make that decision for you. Phylecia didn't make that decision for you, right? And so when you make that decision, you may be the best person that makes chocolate chip cookies on your side of town, right? However, if you don't know what it costs to make that chocolate chip cookie, you don't know if you're making a profit. And the only way to know that information is for you to be doing your numbers, right? And so that's a part of being a good steward of your business is to know your numbers, right? And then the other side of it is this is our first pandemic that we're going through in our lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we've gone through a depression back in 2008 with the automobile industry and the banks. We had 9/11. We will endure another global disaster. And the question is, are you going to be prepared? Have you learned or are you learning anything from the COVID, from the corona? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yep.
And that's what you have to think about. And so, how are you getting your business affairs in order so that when something else hits, you're prepared? You're like, okay, I already know what my disaster recovery plan is.
This is this is real, and I feel, I never want to point a finger because I have no judgment, no shame when
Absolutely.
how we manage our money, but it's almost like we hit a wall where you have no excuse right now. You have to know this because a lot of us, even though we may have 1099 contractors, there are people depending on us. So we have to know our finances. Now, one of the things that I noticed about the PPP, and this was a rule last week, is that if you apply for the PPP, you as a solo business owner, you will not be able to apply for unemployment. Is that true?
And it's because as a solo entrepreneur, as a self employed individual, they are going to cover your salary, what you've been paying yourself for the next 8 weeks. Because the estimation is that over the next 8 weeks, or when you receive your funds, so from the date you receive your funds is when your clock starts,
Mm-hmm.
8 weeks from then, that we will be out of this pandemic that we're in, right? That's what the expectation is. So, what folks have done over here on the East Coast is they started to let their staff go, let their team members go, or they began to reduce hours. And you were able to apply for unemployment either for the gap hours or if you were completely laid off, you were able to apply. The point of the PPP program is that, and that includes W-2s and 1099s, the expectation is that when you get these funds, you're going to go back and rehire your folks, or you're going to go back and bring them back to full capacity because you now have funds, and hopefully you've calculated appropriately so that you now have funds to cover payroll for the next 8 weeks.
And that means you need to know your numbers, right?
You gotta know your number. You gotta know your number.
It's funny how all of this goes back to you need to know your numbers. You need to know your numbers. You need to know
what it is, Phylecia? Foundation.
Yeah.
How can you build a house on a foundation that's not solid? Your business is the house, right? Mm-hmm. And in order for you to get to a place to say, I've been in business for 16 years, you've had to do some things, right? To get to that place. And by no means, I'm not saying it's been easy, guys, because it hasn't. It is not easy being a business owner. However, there is a lot of reward in it. And if it's something that you are passionate about and that you love, then you get up every day wanting to do it.
Yeah. So, okay. Whew. Yeah, we got to get that foundation. And sometimes for those of us who are healthy, our families are doing okay, and there's still income coming in, I'm saying this is like a mini blessing in slowing down and getting on the right side of our finances and getting on the right side of our business. Because sometimes some of us, we just need to be like, all right, I told you to slow down. Now I'm going to make you slow down. And
absolutely.
I'm fortunate that it's this way, but it's like, okay, I hear you, universe. Let's figure this out. All right.
Absolutely.
One of the last things we want to talk about before we jump off, because you're going to be back next week with a whole new set of rules, because everything's going to change again. Yay. Mm-hmm. So for everyone, this is Andrea Jack. She is the official CFO of Ask the Budgetologist. She runs her accounting firm for the last 16 years, D&P Financial Services, out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So thank you for tuning in. We're going to talk about the EIDL, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. And I need to remind everybody that PPP is a loan, y'all. So that's a loan as well. So what's the deal with the EIDL? Which one is better? Should I do one? Should I do them all? What should I do?
My philosophy, my philosophy, what have I been telling my clients is we are going to apply for everything that you have the capacity for. Because again, we are in unprecedented times. We've never seen times where we can apply for federal funds and they don't ask for your credit score.
And no collateral.
We've never seen this, right? So understand the PPP will be forgiven if you use the funds for what it's supposed to be used for, and you can support that. That's key.
Yeah.
Because what you tell them up front, this is what I need the money for, right? So let's say you get approved, but then they're going to come back on the back end and say, now show us your payroll reports, show us your Schedule C that you did what you were supposed to do with these funds, and then that loan will be forgiven, okay? On the EIDL side, without the word advance in it, that is a complete loan. Mm-hmm. Now, what I am under the belief is that we can consider 2020 a wash. And what I mean by that is the economists are saying, let's say we are from under quarantine come May 1st. It's going to take somewhere between 3 to 9 months for the economy to fully get back up and running. It's like, starting your car when you got a snowstorm. It's been sitting for so many days. Yep. You got to warm that baby up, right?
Yeah, we just had 2 batteries die. Yeah, I know what that's
there
like.
There you go, right? So 3 to 9 months, if you do the math from May 1st, 3 to 9 months, that puts us in December. That means we're going into 2021.
We're already kind of in 2021 when it comes to business planning, but you are right. When if we come out of this on May 1st, I mean, it's going to take a while for some of us to kind of like, okay, what does this new business normal look like? And then for those businesses that were, I mean, like literally within weeks of this, all of this being shut down, they may not even be able to come back. So it will probably take a while because we have to get back into whatever whatever version of functioning that is. And the other thing is not to sound, I try not to sound like, negative. I don't want to say negative, Nancy. That's not cool. But you don't want to be like an extreme downer, but we still don't have vaccines. The scientists still are working on this. So we have no idea, what's going to really happen with this. If we have a window where we can all go outside and party, and then we have to do this all over again come fall. So it's almost like we really don't know when the cycle is going to start again when it comes to business. So I think you're right. This is where we need to like just be working on our foundation.
Correct.
And working on our foundation big time.
Because of that, right? The reason why I mention that is why I'm telling my clients to apply for everything that they have the capacity for. Mm-hmm. Because you need to make sure. So let's say you don't really need the funds. Apply anyway, even if you only apply for a small amount. You can apply for the EIDL right now, $25,000 or less. And they're not asking for any collateral.
But I want to break in for just a second. We have to be very clear that when you do apply, that doesn't mean you have to accept the money, right? You can you have to wait until you sign those promissory notes and everything, and then you get it. But you can still go ahead and apply and just see what they say.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
But my thing is, apply for it. If you get approved, take those funds. Mm-hmm. And if you don't need the funds, then you set those funds in an account that you're not going to touch. Because the other side to this is they're not expecting repayment to start for 3 to 6 months.
And some of them, the deferment was up to 6 to 12 months, I thought, for
there you go.
The Paycheck Protection Program as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So again, you can have money sitting in the bank, because if this goes longer than what the expectations are and you begin to deplete your funds, you've already done what you needed to do to shore up some funds, right? Okay. Because if you try to go and get money in May or June, it may be all gone. Now, let me say this. I want to add this in here, Phylecia, because this is huge, and I want you guys to watch out for this. Today,
not tomorrow,
in the Senate, Steve Mnuchin, they are bringing.
For those of you who are listening on the podcast and watching on YouTube, today is April 9th, just FYI. Yeah.
Right, because people are losing sight of days. So today, April 9th, let me say that. They are going to be requesting for another $250 billion to be put into the fund for the Paycheck Protection Program. That is huge, because they understand there are so many Americans who are hurting and they need access to funds for reasons like they can't get unemployment and they're just self-employed. They may not have employees, they only may have contractors, right? Or just themselves. So today they are going back to the Senate to ask for another $250 billion. Yes. And I believe it will be approved.
Okay. And
because
it's definitely going to be approved. And for those who are solo business owners, creators, freelancers, the gig workers, you're all in this pot as well. So don't forget that.
Please. And let me tell you, I have so many people. On Monday, I had 7 consultations, and all 7 of them had not applied for anything yet.
Mm-hmm. And there are deadlines. So I'm sorry if I'm breaking it, but it's like,
no, you're fine.
There are deadlines for a lot of these programs as well. And,
yes.
And the money is first come, first serve.
Yes.
Bree is saying, thank you so much for breaking it down, Andrea. So thank you.
But you're welcome, we have to remember, Bree.
There are deadlines. The money is first come, first serve. Yeah.
Yes. And I know it's a lot, right? And so one of the reasons why I'm coming on to help Phylecia make sure that I can help her community. And if you need help, that's what we're here for. We are doing COVID-19 consulting, so that if you need help going through the paperwork, or you need your taxes done, because we didn't even talk about the stimulus payments, right? That you can get.
And the fact that they have taxes are now due July 15th or June 15th.
Yes, July 15th.
And then some of these programs are relying on the fact that you've already submitted your taxes.
Right.
So yeah,
that means you can't wait.
So there's a lot of things that, we're getting close to time, but there's a lot of things that we still need to unpack. The fact that you need to do your taxes.
Yes.
A lot of these programs have deadlines. The money is first come, first serve.
Yes.
There was something else. Gosh, you're right. We haven't even talked about, I mean, geez, there's so much. Even my brain hurts. Like what, I mean, just like really quickly, what else do we need to pay attention to? Because if I'm right, the EIDL also has a grant attached to it, and you cannot apply for, you have to apply for the loan in order to get access to the grant funds, unless they've changed that since I've last looked at everything.
So that has changed, but what they are asking is if you applied for that advance, this, I don't know why they're calling it a loan because it's the $10,000 that's fully forgivable. But if you applied for that, it gets rolled into the numbers for the EIDL, right? So that's kind of how those two are playing together. But I do want to mention this really quickly, guys. If you have not done your 2018 taxes,
2018 taxes.
2018. Listen, today I'm meeting with someone and we're going back to 2010.
What?
2010. Yes, that's real. So please get your taxes done. And this is not the time to try to DIY things because there's certain things and certain criteria that they're looking for. And if you are above those thresholds, then you will knock yourself out of the running for getting stimulus payments.
And that's the stimulus payment, which is the $1,200 for individuals, up to $2,400 for families, and you start phasing out after $75,000. And then if you hit a certain amount, you get nothing. So yeah, so this is where you really need to talk to someone you trust.
Yes.
When it comes to your accounting. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Whew. All right. So that's the stimulus check, and then so first thing is make sure you did your taxes for 2018 at the least. Do your taxes for 2019. Have your numbers ready to go because some of these programs are for our LLC, sole proprietors. They are looking at the Schedule C. And then some of the other programs were really interesting in that they only wanted, depending on how you did payroll. Like if you were an S Corp or corporation, you had to actually take payroll out, or is that still important based on how the business structure, how it was structured?
Well, it's not necessarily how the business is structured as it is more so, are you doing payroll? Because if you're an S Corp or a C Corp, then you are required as an officer of the company to take a reasonable compensation, right? So now you're playing by different rules versus if you're a single member LLC or a partnership. So you need to understand based on your entity structure, what rules you should be playing by, right? And so and there's a lot of rules. So that might be something that we talk about next week. But I do want to ask your community a favor because there's also a lot of money that's flowing on a state and local level.
Yes.
So if you guys can just drop in the comments for me, what city and state are you from? And in that way, I can kind of add that to the list that we're watching because we have a whole group. So, I'm constantly on webinars and podcasts and town halls with the IRS, with AICPA, with NATP, because they're constantly just download. I feel like a computer right now. They're downloading information into us so that we can then get it back out to our constituents. So if you guys drop in the comments for me the city and state that you're tuning in from, then next week I'll be able to talk a little bit more specific about what's going on in your area and are these programs you should be applying to.
Yeah, definitely. Because the states, even some cities, even the local chambers are running programs as well.
Yes.
So first, tell us where you are because I know I'm representing in Colorado here in Denver and some of the surrounding suburbs, but let us know where you are. Andrea, we even have people that were asking about finances in Canada. I was like, you know what? Let me work on one country first. There's too much for me to process, like two countries.
Because this is global.
I know. And then there was a couple, and then I have friends over in the UK. They're like, I'm going to do one country at a time.
Right.
So for everyone who's here, please put your information down in the comment box so that next week, and we're going to try to get Andrea on every Wednesday. So we're going to target every Wednesday. She's going to come in. So for all of your CFO questions, we're going to do that. If you need help with your accounting, call her. We're going to put the link down in the comment box so that you can reach out to her. If you need to go back to 2010 with your taxes, oh, you better have some patience. No judgment. But you better have some
Just
patience.
get it done.
So yeah, if you need help, also in the world of bookkeeping, in the world of accounting, if you just need, because I do know that you will actually do some consulting as well. Like if people have somebody else they want to do their taxes with, they could still call you and to get like, where do I start here type thing. Can they do that as well?
Exactly. Yes, they can.
Okay. So cool. So everyone, I've always said that, if you ever need help, I will always try to bring as many resources to you. So this young lady is someone I absolutely trust, because I don't trust everybody out there. Not everybody needs to be playing. Not everybody needs to be playing with your money right now. So I absolutely trust her. So we're going to put her information down in the comment box. So if you need help with those taxes, that accounting, all the things, if you just need somebody to help you figure out a cocktail, I don't know. Do you do that as well?
Yes. That's all I'm going to say. Yes. Well, let me say this, right? If you guys follow me, I just started this week because, again, there's so much information. Every weeknight, Monday through Friday, somewhere in the hour of 6 p.m. We're trying to start at 6, but
happy
hour-ish. The phones have been just crazy. But we're doing a thing called Sip and Chat. And so you get to come with your beverage, rather it be, right now I'm drinking tea for my voice, but rather it may be a little brown or a little clear. It's up to you, but it's a Sip and Chat. And we do about 20 to 30 minutes where I kind of give you the highlights for what changed for the day, how it may be affecting you, and then and then you have the opportunity to ask questions in real time while, you're in a community. So, and we have a lot of fun doing it. And you get to see a lot of my personality. So come on out and join us for the Sip and Chat.
All right. That would be great because you're going to come on once a week, but we also know things are just so fluid right now. So everybody can get what we talked about in the morning, and then like the whole program is going to change by tonight. So what we say might be real, what we say may not be real. So for those of you who are listening on the podcast, all of this is going to be in the show notes. For those of you who are going to be watching on YouTube, everything's going to be in the show notes. So how you can reach out to our official CFO of Ask the Budgetologist. So we're not going to let her go because money is always happening, y'all. Money is always happening. And so we need to make sure we're on top of our finances. So Andrea, thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'm so glad to be joining your community, Phylecia. I'm looking forward to having fun with you over the next year, and looking forward to getting to know you guys.
Yay! We're gonna do some numbers for all you math nerds. Yep, we've just gone nerd times 2 when it comes to numbers. So
we really did.
Yeah, it's just like my TEDx talk. All girls are great at math, so I'm bringing in the girls so we can be amazing at this math.
I like that.
So we are business owners and we're doing math. So thank you everyone for tuning in. If you have any questions, we will pop them down in the comment box. I'm gonna be in the thread just answering anything. All of the information to contact Andrea is going to pop down there as well. For those of you who started off, we had a few technical difficulties because tech happens this morning. We're going to blame it on the COVID. Can we do that?
We can do that. We so can do that.
We're going to blame it on the COVID. We had a couple of misspelling errors that hopefully nobody paid attention to because I had to switch that up. So, because I don't bring a lot of guests on, but this was fun. So everyone, thank you so very much. I got my button in front of me. So Andrea, I'm going to see you on Wednesday.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye, everyone.